comic books to TV shows and all things loved by nerds. We'll share just how we rate them from our favorites to the worst. Poking fun at toxic fandom, so we'll kick this into gear and see what's on the list today. Let's discuss some toxic tears.
All right, guys. Test one. Can everybody hear me? Welcome to Toxic Tears.
Tell me how you're feeling. And we'd go, fantastic, terrific, great. Oh yeah, strong juice, baby sucker. I feel wonderful. Right on, right on, right on. Juice, 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 juice. I feel great. Ooh, wah, wah. Let's kick some ass, kick some ass. Who's number one? We are. Who's number two? Who gives a fuck?
That's our intro, guys. My name is Ron Rossmann. I am here with Toxic Tears. Joining me now is the camp killer himself, Rob Cochran.
Yeah, Camp Killer on Facebook and Instagram. Gratuitous plug coming up. Warning. If you need a professional Jason Voorhees cosplayer for an event, birthday party, or Comic-Con, send me a message.
There you go. Camp Killer on Facebook. Check him out. It's also in the description video. You are now part of Toxic Tears, episode 1. We have a good show planned. This is our first episode. We're still working out some of the bugs, but definitely an improvement from our test. So I'm really excited about what's happening today. Get all my paperwork together here. We are going to be talking about the top 17 horror movies of 1980. This is series 1 of 9. So next time will be 1981. There are 79 total movies released, horror movies released in 1980. We're going to be covering...
Did you say horror or horrible?
Well, there were 79 horrible, yeah. 17 horror movies. These were... Rob and I picked these based off of popularity and their current cult status. So we went with 17, couldn't do 79. A couple things. We need you in the comments to be very, very, very interactive. We want to hear your opinions, because if it's just me and Rob, it's not fun. So let us know as we rank these movies what your input is. We'll also be showing you some trailers from the films, if everything works like I hope it's going to work, and give you some fun facts about the movies as well. There are going to be spoilers. So
Spoiler alert.
These movies are how old, Rob? 46 years old?
46, yeah.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen them by now, that's on you. All right, so before I go over what each ranking means, I want to just mention, guys, that if you want to comment in the chat, the one thing we ask is don't be a...
Dick.
Don't be a dick. Don't be a dick in the chat. If you're a dick in the chat, we're going to cut you out. If you don't know what a dick is, take biology. No, seriously, don't know what a dick is. You should not be commenting in any group whatsoever. So don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
So, anyway. All right, so what does our ratings mean? So S, that's the GOAT, right, Rob?
Superior.
That's superior. That's
perfect.
Yeah, that means the movie is not only super well made, super fun, the next level. It was a trendsetter. It became iconic. Mm-hmm. A is a good horror movie.
Good movie.
We enjoyed it, but maybe it's not reached the S level. C is average. You know, it's not great. It's not bad. It's passable.
Passable.
Yeah. F means the movie stinks.
Fail.
But you still could watch it.
Right.
Z means it's unwatchable.
Unwatchable.
Yep. So
bottom of the barrel.
Bottom of the barrel. So don't forget to check all of our channels. They're on there on the channel card on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, X, and Rumble. Please like and follow all of our pages. So, want to throw in a couple of thanks. First and foremost, we got most of our information from imbd.com. I want to give a couple of shout outs to some great review channels. They're also in the description. At Fanboy Flicks, fantastic comedy review website. Minty Comedic Arts out of Australia. The guy is wonderful in finding fun facts about films. The Bad Movie Bible, has entire...
10 times fast.
I'm sorry?
Say that 10 times fast.
Yeah,
the
right.
Movie
The bad movie, blah, blah. He's got some great collections about films, like what films kind of copied Aliens, what films copied Jaws, Indiana Jones, James Bond, etc. Brandon Tenold, he's hilarious. I love him.
Brandon
Tenold, he's hilarious.
Oh, yeah, he is.
And then Dead Meat. If you're looking for
Dead
your
Meat.
kill counts, Dead Meat. Okay, guys, let's begin with our first film, which is I don't know, Rob said this. I don't know why this is considered a horror. It's definitely more in the sci-fi genre. Definitely inspired by Aliens.
Yeah, oh,
Alien.
yeah.
So remember, right before these movies came out, we had Halloween, Alien. This is 80s. Rob and I both said that these films feel very 70s.
Yeah, they do.
They feel
really
very,
do.
very 70s. So this is like the crossroads where the 70s was kind of, the styles were changing, but the change was very, very slow.
Yeah, well, very
One of
slow.
the films we have has a 3-minute disco scene. So, so the first film we'll be talking about is Saturn III.
In an isolated sector of our solar system, suspended in orbit around the 6th planet from our sun, lies a distant outpost, a technologically perfect world where mistakes are impossible, because the impossible is unthinkable. It is called Saturn III. Each year for 22 days, a solar eclipse plunges this outpost into shadow lock. Total darkness. All communication is terminated. This year, the inhabitants of Saturn III are about to experience the unthinkable. A nightmare so perfect, it could only have been made by man.
Captain, Major, this is my partner.
There are only 4 inhabitants on Saturn III. One of them is not human.
No! Don't let him touch me!
Do as you're told, be still.
Get back! Get back!
Yeah, that trailer goes into Z.
Way
That's
to
a horrible
go, way
trailer.
to go. Right, the trailer alone. Couple other things. Harvey Keitel was in it, but Rob, what was the thing about that?
They dubbed his voice throughout the whole thing because the director hated his Brooklyn accent and did not want him to have a Brooklyn accent. So his whole voice is dubbed throughout the whole movie, which is just strange
It
to
was
me.
dubbed by actor Roy Joyce.
Yeah.
Here's a cool one, Rob. The robot Hector was based on human brain tissue.
Yes.
In the story, the robot Hector is programmed with cloned human brain tissue, specifically from Keitel's character, who's psychologically unstable. That means the robot is basically a roid-up version of a psychopath with mommy issues.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, he smuggled those brains on and connected them to the robot.
Right, and there's no doubt this is an Alien ripoff. This is absolutely inspired by Alien. Again, great concept, terrible execution.
Terrible execution.
Terrible execution.
Actually, the set design is phenomenal.
Yeah.
The actual set design, they put a lot of money. You can tell.
The robot itself.
The robot itself, the neck down is good.
I feel like they may have lost budget when they got to the head.
They might. They did the set design in the first half of the robot and said, "Uh-oh."
Right. And guess who demanded a full nude scene in the film? You've got Farrah Fawcett, Kirk Douglas,
You'll never guess it.
It was Kirk Douglas wanted to be naked.
He wanted to be fully nude. And I gotta say, for as old as he was in this movie, he didn't look bad.
No, he did not look bad. He did not look bad at all. Farrah Fawcett was almost replaced. But because they had a contract complication, she stayed. It was based on a sci-fi short, The Season of the Flame by Martin Amis.
Mm-hmm.
It was part of course, the Sci-Fi Gold Rush. The set was so intense, they had multiple fights almost break out.
Wow.
So
did not know that.
Yeah. Hector's robot's effects were ambitious but janky. The robot costume was a 12-foot tall puppet.
That's amazing.
Operated by wires, rods, and remote controls. It took 5 people to move it. Basically, say he moved like a clunky steampunk flamingo.
Steampunk flamingo.
And it does have a director's cut, but it no longer exists. It had more violence and nudity. So if you want to see more of Kirk Douglas's butthole, there is a director's cut. So, Rob, what is your call on this one?
The ending was horrible as well. There's a very anticlimactic ending. I wanted to mention that.
Yeah, it was.
It was
really
hugely
bad.
anticlimactic. I think just because for the set design alone, gets it to an F.
An
for
F?
me.
You think it's an F?
I think so.
Okay.
Everything else was just kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't think it's unwatchable.
No, it's not unwatchable.
I think I think an F is actually a very fair grade.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's in the wrong category, but it is actually listed. It's documented
I'll put it more sci-fi.
as a horror film, which is just bizarre to me.
It is.
But yep. So our first movie is an F.
F.
Wow. All right. So this is The Watcher in the Woods. This was a Disney movie.
Mm-hmm.
Disney actually made 2 what I would call horror films. They have Something Wicked This Way Comes.
Yeah, right.
And The
Which
Watcher
really
in the Woods. Both times they wanted to branch out into more adult style films. Both times the studio got nervous and pulled back. And
they actually, when they first came up with this concept, they said it was going to be their Exorcist.
Right.
But far from that. They really pulled back on it.
Yeah, definitely not. I saw this movie, I think as a kid, when it came on HBO or something. I don't remember ever seeing it in the theater. But this is The Watcher in the Woods. A little bit, so you guys can get a little bit of it. See if you guys can hear us better over the trailer. As you can say, again, you could very dated. Looks just like the 70s. There were different endings. And the Watcher was
completely different endings.
Yeah. And the Watcher was originally a giant alien grasshopper.
Yeah. It was very strange looking in the alternate ending.
Right.
When a young girl vanished.
I don't know if the alternate endings are available. I guess
you can find them on YouTube
so,
if you want to see the alternate ending.
Yeah. One was sci-fi heavy, showing the Watcher, which was our alien grasshopper. Mm-hmm. Another leaned into a mystical fantasy, and the third was more ambiguous and psychological. Only some versions ever aired theatrically, and others remain unseen until DVD Laserdisc. There's a
do you think happened to Karen?
blast from the past. It was pulled from theaters within a week due to the fact that the ending made no sense. So Disney scrambled, reworked the ending, and re-released it in 1981. So technically this could be a 1981, but it was released in 1980. We're going by release date. I know Betty Davis was a real pain in the ass on this set.
Oh, you know she was. She's a diva.
Yeah, she was. She was getting older, and I don't think she was happy with her appearance because she was very vain. She had to have her own wardrobe to make the character feel more authentic. It was shot in a real haunted forest. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
In Black Park in Buckinghamshire, England. and it is based on a novel called The Watch in the Woods that was released in 1976. The mirror scene was nearly banned.
For what?
It was too disturbing for young audiences.
If it's the mirror scene I'm thinking of, she just stands in front of it and then she has no reflection.
Yeah, I don't know why this is hard. I'm going to tell you, for me, Rob, I'm going to let you make the final call. I personally think this is unwatchable. I really struggled through it. I remember I didn't see the whole thing when I was a kid, not because I was terrified of it, I got bored. I watched it again, and it was equally as boring.
It was very slow moving. There was no lot of action. It wasn't scary at all.
No, it's definitely, you can tell it's Disney. It is without a doubt Disney. So not doing so hot so far now. We got a Z and an F. Not great. The next film up is New Year's Evil. They say it's the only New Year's Eve themed horror movie, which is incorrect.
It is incorrect.
Because Terror Train is also New Year's themed. It has the same premises of all things trading places with the American Masquerade Party.
Absolutely.
However, it's the only horror film that actually has a murder each hour leading up to midnight. Exactly. So that's a cool concept.
It's killing somebody in different time zones as they reach midnight.
I said, this looks like if MTV in the 1980s made a horror film. Because there's
slam dancing, mosh pit.
There's long extended scenes of different songs that make no sense in this film. And then this is one of the few horror films that reveals the killer right off the bat.
Right off the bat.
And I like the idea of him looking like a normal guy, which makes it scary because he could be the guy sitting next to you. Mm-hmm. But I don't. I didn't find it scary. I watched it. It was more. I don't know what you'd call it. It wasn't even psychological thriller. The concept is awesome, but it's just not a cool movie. Basically, the wife is putting on this kind of ratchet MTV style host. Is putting on this event, and she's waiting for her husband to arrive. There's a twist in the film involving that.
But we should probably say, but at the very beginning, we see him in the telephone booth.
Right. And then
showing his whole face, almost his whole face. And then saying, call me evil.
Yeah, that's what he calls himself.
Call me evil.
Oh, dude, it's so cringe. and then the son, the actor who plays the son, just acts creepy the whole time.
He's like obsessed with his mom. It's like to the point of putting her panties over his head.
He's like Timu Buffalo Bill.
Yeah, he's very, very strange. So, he loves his mom a little too much.
The ending leaves on a cliffhanger, if you can call it that. I don't know if it's a cliffhanger.
I think it's just stupid. Yeah. The ending was lackluster, if that. I mean, I'll go ahead and say it's the killer gets thrown off the roof, and then it ends with the son.
Does he jump off the roof? He gets thrown off?
I think he jumps off the roof. That's right. He jumps off the roof and kills himself. Lands on a car. The ambulance comes and gets the mom. And the son kills the ambulance driver and drives off with the mom in the ambulance. Right. So it's like, what's that all about?
It was. I mean, listen. You make a film in 8 days. I don't know what the budget was. We need to start adding the budget on
8 days is insane.
It looks very cheap. The concert sequences go on way too long. Mm-hmm. None of the characters you're interested in at all. They kill off the only interesting character, which is the black lady. They kill her off
and
first.
You never see her again.
And then you see her head, right? Or something like that.
Yeah, you see her head, yeah.
So this is unwatchable. I think I
agree with Z.
I think it's definitely a Z. So 80s are not starting the decade with a good run right now.
No, they're not.
So Humanoids from the Deep is one of those films that was the opposite of what happens in the studio. One, it's a Roger Corman film, so strap in for that, or strap on for that. Two, Barbara Peters, who's actually a very good director, made the film as kind of, she was going for the Jaws feel. It was like an echo horror film, where because they were experimenting with the salmon in the area, it apparently created these frog-like creatures, these monsters. When Roger Corman saw it, he said, I need more nudity and gore.
I need more nudity and gore.
And
correct.
so his solution to this was, let's make the creatures grape women. That's what his solution.
And that's what they do.
So yeah, they don't. I don't think they show them on top. They don't actually show like.
No, they
masses.
show them like on top. Yeah.
But that was the solution. You know what this monster movie needs? SA. So.
And the monsters themselves. Tell your fun fact about that one.
They had one full costume and a
costume.
bunch of pieces. So you never see more than 3 of the monsters on screen. And
But they're supposed to be everywhere.
they're shot from different angles so you don't see the missing parts. From when I first watched, they had this giant like Reed Richards monster that's got these long arms.
Arms went forever.
That look like, if you've ever seen the original Fantastic Four film, the one that Roger Corman made, I feel like he took the framing from that and put it in. So there's one with giant arms, and then the other one, and I'm like, they look the same. The masks kind of look a little different, but the creatures, and lo and behold, that was the reason. And it was one of the first times that they killed a kid in a horror film.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, they killed a kid.
But
I was surprised by that.
Without a doubt, the first 5 minutes, you notice the Jaws ripoff. You also know it's a Roger Corman film, hands down. The acting is atrocious, but
horrible.
We're going to go ahead and run the trailer because we have to, and if we got tortured, you deserve to be tortured.
Yeah, they were doing experiments on frogs. They made frogs double their size, and then they did it on salmon.
Then they turn into these huge things. Doesn't look like Jaws at all, does it, Rob?
Not at all.
Yeah. It's also called Monster Humanoids from the Deep as well. It's got 2 titles.
Not for killing, for mating.
Now here's the thing: the creature effects, Rob, were done by Rob Bottin. Guess what other films Robbie did? The Thing, RoboCop, and Total Recall.
Wow, which are phenomenal.
This must have been during his LSD.
He probably didn't have a whole lot to work with.
No, I'm sure the budget. If it's Roger Corman, the budget was $10 and a Best Buy gift card. So it is inspired by H.P. Lovecraft. There is an actual story that is very similar to this, but actually done well.
They loved explosions in this movie.
Oh yeah.
There's one where
didn't the car go off the bridge and just explodes in water?
As soon as it touches the ground, it explodes.
Explodes in water.
And there's a guy in the movie that hates another guy who's an American Indian, Native American. So he throws a Molotov cocktail on the top of his house, and as soon as the bottle hits the top of his house, the whole house just obliterates, explodes. It's like, wow, that's not a little overkill there.
And this was during the time of guerrilla, what we used to call guerrilla filmmaking. The 80s was like the Wild West in filmmaking. Yeah. Permits, we don't need no stinking permits. So they blew up a bunch of shit without any permits.
They really
There's
did.
one scene where you could see the explosion. They almost catch the guy in the explosion. There is a family-friendly cut on TV. They took out all the nudity, gore, and SA. And the final scene of it is an Alien ripoff.
It is.
Ann Turkel was a soap opera star. She played Dr. Susan Drake. And then this became a grindhouse staple. It's definitely considered a cult film. There are a lot of people who love this film. That obviously need some sort of mental help. But I think we're going to give it an F. I think you're right. It needs to be an F. I think even if you just do the family friendly scene, it's still there that Roger Corman thought the best thing to do to make his movie better was to add SA.
You're
so
right.
we'll go ahead and give that an F too. All right, next up is Altered States. This is what I would call on the more mature level and more of a psychological thriller with a science fiction element. It's
got a cult following.
Has a huge cult following. This film is about a scientist who does experiments with drugs and sensory deprivation, and the idea is he's going into his id or his inner self, and then it explores the ideas of where we came from, how we evolved.
In the basement of one of the country's leading medical schools, Dr. Edward Jessup, candidate for a Nobel Prize, is conducting the most dangerous experiment in the history of science. And the subject of the experiment is himself.
Ask him what kind of an experience I can expect. It's deafening. The noise is deafening.
He's blacked out.
What happens during these blackout periods is you get the feeling of phenomenal acceleration, like you're being shot out over millions, billions of years. Time simply obliterates.
You guys are shooting off with an untested drug that stacks up in the brain and works in the nucleus of the cell, and you don't call that dangerous.
I'm asking you to put the experiment off until we understand a little more in order to minimize the risk.
Way.
I'm really frightened. We could be screwing around with his whole genetic structure. Now, how do we stop this?
We've got millions of years stored away in that computer bank we call our minds. We have got trillions of dormant genes in us, our whole evolutionary past. Perhaps I've tapped into that.
He may be onto something that is beyond our own comprehension. Now, because I believe him, I want this thing stopped.
The hell was that? You okay?
If you love me, Eddie, defy it!
Altered States.
Not a terrible movie. If you just like want to see a good, again, I don't think this is horror. I really think this is science. To me, this is up with like the Andromeda Strain,
right?
And cerebral horror, cerebral science fiction like that.
Because he doesn't kill anybody, does he?
No, and it's really I guess they're counting the effects.
Actually, ends up saving his wife.
Yeah, I think he sacrificed himself, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't he?
No, they both start changing, and he wakes himself up out of his trance to go and touch her, and they say that he saved her with love.
Oh God!
You can take that for what it's worth.
I can't give it an F because I think the acting is
William Hurt.
It's an interesting story. It's not a horrible watch. Acting is good. I'm going to give it a C, Rob.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Our next film is one of the grossest films of 1980.
Very controversial back in 1980
as well. It was Cannibal Holocaust.
Horrible.
I will tell you honestly, because we're always honest on this podcast. I've not seen this all the way through. I think Rob watched it.
I have not. I just watched a recap kind of thing because I could tell there was something I wouldn't want to watch.
Yeah, it's gross.
They actually have the reason it was controversial is they had actual scenes of executions over in other lands. I mean, there were actual footage of actual executions.
Yeah, this is the one they killed the animals in, right?
And they actually killed live animals in this as well. That was another controversial thing.
Live animals too. So
it was kind of a found footage. It was like the first found footage movie.
Definitely.
They go searching for this crew that disappeared, and they find their video equipment, and so they end up watching the found footage.
Yeah, it's I mean, visually, cinematography wise, it's actually very well done. And I have to be careful I don't rate it on a bias because I don't like cannibal films. But
no, I'm not a big fan of it. It's actually, I'm sorry.
No.
It's actually a play on the media itself. Even way back then, how they lie and deceive you to show you something you think you're seeing, but you're not actually seeing it. Because a lot of the atrocities that the film crew they got murdered by the cannibals, they manufactured most of it, made it look like it was something else.
Yeah, the director actually got arrested.
Sure
because it was so real. This was part of those video nasties. The video nasties was, if you guys ever know, in the 80s, I think it was England, and several other countries banned a lot of the horror films in the 80s because they were too violent, too gory, etc. I Spit on Your Grave was one, and this was one. So it was banned in 50 countries, and it is still banned in some countries, and it's the most widely banned film ever made, which is pretty surprising. After the filming, the director was so determined to make it look realistic that he asked the actors to disappear for a while.
Disappeared. So people thought they actually got killed in the movie.
Yeah.
It actually came out, it might have been a snuff film.
Yes.
It was not a snuff film.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
been,
And I feel like this inspired Faces of Death. I don't know if it was...
I think it did too.
They mismatched the score to make it feel more stark and real. The tribes were actual Amazonian tribes. They were paid tools.
Did not know that.
Right. And it's also, most scholars, what the fuck is a scholar anymore? Is a critique on what you just said, the sensationalized Western media, Rob. Mm-hmm. Especially how journalists exploit violence for profit.
Absolutely.
And of course, everyone knows Eli Roth made a film called Green Inferno. It was inspired by this. So, Rob, without any bias, just as a film, I think this would be an A because it was iconic. It was very well filmed. They did a lot of cutting-edge stuff that no one had done before.
All the kills look incredibly realistic.
Personally, this is unwatchable.
It's unwatchable for me too.
But it's not. I think, to be fair, I think it has to get an A.
Well, does controversy make a movie a good movie?
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, you think about it. It was the first found footage. It was the first movie of its kind. It did it well. It did it real well because you and I don't like it because it did so well.
Right.
So I think it deserves an A. I wouldn't put it in the S category.
No.
I'm sure there are people that would, but I think it deserves an A just for the amount of effort put into it. And we need to be fair and balanced.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So, all right. Terror Train. This is trading places if they made a horror movie.
Absolutely.
The only unique thing about this film I thought, was the fact that the killer keeps changing costumes.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, I thought that was.
That was a really good premise.
They kind of
constantly changing.
Yeah, and they kind of telegraph who the killer is, which I think was stupid.
They absolutely telegraphed who the killer was.
This film did so terrible. Jamie Lee Curtis is in how many of our films?
Three or four.
This film made Jamie Lee Curtis swear off slasher flicks until Halloween H2O.
Yep.
So that's how bad this film was. She hates this film. The kills are weird. There's one guy who dies in a crowded room sitting next to a friend of his that gets something like, it looks like either shot or stabbed in his stomach.
Stabbed.
So it's bizarre.
And there's a conductor on the train that's actually hiding all the murders.
Right.
He doesn't want to create a panic, so when he discovers a body, he gets rid of, puts it somewhere in another car.
Exactly.
So they don't have a panic.
And then David Copperfield, this is his first.
He is, yeah.
His first film, and he's actually a red herring in the film.
He is a red herring.
So they try to make him a red herring.
But he's doing his magic on the train. The gist of it is it's a group of pre-med students who are celebrating their graduation.
Right.
And they hired him. They hired the train. They hired the magician, and it's just Party City.
And there's a scene where they're all sitting like 5-year-olds watching the magician. Like that would actually happen with a group of college kids where alcohol and sex involved. So that was interesting. The script was rewritten for Jamie Lee Curtis.
Terror Train.
Everybody take off your mask. Hey, take it easy, man. What are you doing? Oh, my God. Stay with your date. I don't want to get back on that track. Nobody does. Help! Please! Nice gag, help me! Help! You'll die. At this temperature, you'll die. No! You'll die. You'll die. Come on, no! Come on! No! Oh, no! No!
For the students aboard, it's going to be the one party to end them all.
They're always walking out of my parties. But this time, you can't.
believe in magic?
My last big college party.
It's a joke. Goddamn practical joke.
The scream in the night isn't the train. It's the terror at your throat. The terror train.
I don't want to get back.
You know, I really thought when we started this countdown, the A's was going to be the one.
Phenomenal.
But, yeah, I know. So I don't think it's unwatchable, Rob, because it's kind of fun to some extent. Jamie Lee Curtis is fun in it. I would give it an F. What's your thoughts?
I agree with you. F.
So we're not looking so hot, Rob.
No, we're not.
Not looking so hot. All right, so the next film up is The Changeling. I actually saw this last night.
Within this old house live two residents. One of them is John Russell, composer, professor. The other has been dead for over 70 years.
Claire, I'd like to talk to you about the house.
Did you die in this house? How did you die?
Whatever it is, it's trying desperately to communicate. What is it in that house, Claire? What is it doing? Why is it trying to reach me?
It's a hand.
Senator, I'm John Russell. I'm living in your house. Senator, look, I want to show him that.
You've got something of the senator's. He wants it back.
John?
What is it you want? What do you want from me?
Many films will frighten you, but only a few can really terrify you. The Changeling, an experience beyond total fear.
The twist at the end is very It's very Hitchcockian, also.
It is.
I recommend this one. I think this is actually a really good horror film. It's very dated. It looks a little bit like a soap opera.
And it moves slowly.
Does move slowly. What I love about this film, though, is the Victorian mansion is actually a facade they built in front of a regular house.
And it looks phenomenal, though.
Yeah, it looks just like it. And they actually filmed the rest in a sound studio, which is really cool. It is one of Martin Scorsese's favorite movies. Never would have thought that. So, and it actually helped define Canadian horror. George C. Scott is woefully miscast in this.
Yeah, I think so, yes.
He does not, everyone says he's so good. I did not think he conveyed any of the emotion required for this film.
Another thing people talk about is, why would a single guy move into a mansion with 30 rooms?
Right.
It's like...
Huge mansion. And why would Historical Society be renting a home like that, like it was the beginning of Airbnb?
Right.
The wheelchair got me. The wheelchair got me at one point. The haunted wheelchair got me. And the brutality of what actually happens is pretty significant.
It is.
It's the second time. Well, we just saw humanoids killed a child, and now Changeling killed a child. Two children. There's two children killed. But I feel like The Shining inspired this, or it was kind of competing with The Shining. It doesn't hold a candlestick to The Shining.
No, not even close.
But it is. I think it's worth a watch. It's an hour and 40, so it's not a long watch.
No.
But you got to go in for what you think. So I think, except for the miscasting of George C. Scott, I think it's an A.
I would say C.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because of just the slowness of it and the...
All right. I'm not going to argue. I think you're right. I think it's a good movie. I think you should see it, but was it an A?
I don't think it was that level.
Yeah, I agree. I have to agree with you, Rob. All right, next up is Blood Beach.
Blood Beach.
This is my favorite guilty pleasure horror movie, and it will always be. And it's one of the hardest to find.
The beaches of L.A., playground of America.
So this is Jaws
until
on
this
land.
beach turned
Jaws
into a
on land.
living nightmare.
This film. But it's really not Jaws, and it's actually very creative.
Actually, one of the taglines is, just when you thought it was okay to go back in the water, you can't get to it. Which is, you got to go through the sand.
Blood Beach.
The beach is a weird beat for us cops. You've got the kids.
The performances are actually
people,
pretty good. I thought it was.
Street fiddlers.
The international versions have
those
additional
singles.
footage. It's basically
the crazies all lost in their own world.
Jaws on the beach meets kind of a haunted house
There's every
concept on
form
the
of
beach.
human life on this
In a way.
Mattress Bermudas, bleeding mattress.
And what I like about it is
they were his favorite pair. They were still in good
the
condition.
creature is left off screen, but unfortunately when it does appear, it has the it kind of curse. It's kind of underwhelming.
Very
It would have been better if they just left it to the imagination, kind of like the blob.
It looked like a plant with...
It was a Venus flytrap.
Maybe if we dig deep enough, we'll find
But
out.
they should just went with the blob concept.
The police always look for the obvious, but this
but,
wasn't normal.
Every time I get a chance to watch this movie, I do. It was on HBO. This was a staple on HBO forever. That's where I came. That's the first time I saw it. You know, when you were my age back in the '80s, which was about 9 or 10, and you got to watch these movies on HBO.
Something like this is chasing you.
You know, so.
HBO after that. Yeah. You want to show this feature.
This was on Saturday. They actually did make a newer version of this. I don't know if it's a direct reboot or someone took the idea.
Is it called The Beach?
I think it is, and it's actually not bad. It's actually not bad. Unlike the thing that is missing is kind of the characters that this one has. The characters in this one are much more interesting. They feel more authentic. The other one feels like a bunch of millennials at the beach. So you kind of root for them to die. You're cheering for the monster. But they did a cool thing. They changed up the monster, and you don't see the monster. You just see offsets of the monster, which made it much more.
When you thought it was safe to go back on the
I
water, you
thought
can't get to it.
But again, very dated. Very dated.
Very dated.
Yeah.
And typical, like most movies like this, the cops don't believe what's going on.
Yeah, it goes just like Jaws. Again, you had 3 movies that was setting the tone for everything. Jaws, Halloween, and Alien. So everyone was trying to capitalize on those markets.
It's an okay place to visit, but I wouldn't want to die there.
Little friend there disappears.
Blood Beach. David Huffman.
So there was a better trailer. The first time I saw the trailer, it terrified me. It terrified me. I literally was scared to go on the beach. Jaws kept me out of the ocean. When I saw this young kid, I literally, as stupid as it sounds, was afraid to go on the beach.
Jaws kept me out of the pools for a while.
Pool shark. I think they actually made a movie on Sci-Fi about that. But anyway, so Blood Beach is as cheesy as you get. Very underwhelming monster at the end. But I'm going to tell you, Rob, I'm going to give it a C because...
No, I was going to agree with that.
I would give it an A. I think if the monster was better, it might get an A.
I think they were trying to set it up for a sequel as well because at the end, they blow up the monster and all these tiny little pieces all go out and float down to the beach, and then a bunch of holes start appearing.
Yeah.
And somebody warned, there's a doctor that came in and said that, well, you better be careful, it might remetabolize if you blow it all apart, but they didn't listen to him, of course.
Well, of course not, because blowing stuff is fun.
Yeah, blowing stuff, yeah.
All right, next up is Dressed to Kill.
Dressed to Kill.
Now this was
Morgan Fairchild.
This was directed by Brian De Palma. So this is one of the few horror films that I would consider. This is like a regular film. This was not a horror film. This was a Hitchcockian thriller with the slasher element.
Hitchcock.
The slasher element. It was inspired by real life, and similar to the movie Blowout with John Travolta. It was about De Palma walking around town recording stuff with his mic.
To Kill. Michael Caine.
Angie Dickinson, who played the wife. I think she's the wife, right? Kate Miller.
Murder.
She was supposed to wear a gray suit to play homage to Kim Novak's attire in Vertigo. However, she insisted on wearing the white coat because she felt like the blood would stand out more, which was a brilliant idea. Great. You got to listen to your actors. It revived Michael Caine's career, because he had a bunch of flops in the 1970s. Michael Caine, one of the greatest actors of our time.
Ever lived.
They deliberately tried to keep the killer just enough out of focus so you couldn't tell who the killer was.
To slow
it up, yeah. The nude shower scene was a body double. Dickinson did not do nudity. And it was the first time they used the split screen technique. It was filmed entirely in New York. The film score is by Pino Donaggio, and it also includes tracks by Blondie.
Really?
Yeah, to add the 80s attention. And it was the one of the biggest compliments about the movie was the fashion they used in the film. It was very cutting edge for that. So, Dressed to Kill.
And it actually has a trans tie-in to it way back then in the 80s.
Yeah, it did. As did Terror Train.
Terror Train, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure did.
So this is a very good movie. This is Brian De Palma. Go wrong. The suspense is fantastic. It is not a horror film. It is a psychological thriller with the slasher aspect. It is definitely an A.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it's just, if to give Brian De Palma any less they'd have to take away my credibility as a filmmaker myself.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I think it's definitely worth the A. So, it was a good film. I enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed it. So, and Dickinson is very well cast in this.
She is.
And the other young lady in it,
the prostitute.
She plays prostitutes in every film.
She does.
Every freaking film. What is her name? Nancy Allen.
Nancy Allen, yeah, she does.
What else was Nancy Allen in?
Oh, she's been in a bunch of stuff.
She's been in a ton of stuff.
She's a big character actor.
Yeah. Oh, Rob, we should kick ourselves. Guess what movie we both love she played in?
What?
She was the cop. She was Murphy's partner in RoboCop.
That's right. That's where
Damn it! Damn it! Next film is
Alligator.
It lives 50 feet beneath the streets. It's 36 feet long. It weighs over 2,000 pounds. It's killed 5 people already. And it's about to break out. Alligator.
Jaws with an alligator.
Yes.
I mean, from the mayor who doesn't want the crazy
it.
hunter. Instead of going in the ocean, he's hunting the thing on the streets of looks like Detroit.
Detroit, yeah.
So, a couple of cool facts. The alligator's puppet, unlike like Bruce, was named Ramon.
That's right, Ramon. Yeah, that's what the girl named him for. She flushed it.
He was later donated to the University of Florida and became the mascot of the school sports team.
Wow,
that's pretty fun.
Cool.
That's pretty fun. James Horner who composed for Titanic and Aliens, composed a full score for the film. But at the same time, there was a musician strike, so none of his score was used. Instead, it was Craig Huxley.
Wow.
And this was one of Bryan Cranston's first film.
Right,
so instead of Breaking Bad, he was Breaking Gator.
Breaking Gator.
Breaking Gator.
Wow. Dead jokes.
So one of the sewer workers who died was named Edward Norton as a little homage.
Hey, Norton!
Bruce, right? And then, I didn't notice this, Rob. I did see that there's graffiti that says Harry Lime lives. And that is based on Orson Welles' character in The Third Man, who met his end in the sewers. That's
wow.
So the sewer SWAT scene, again, this goes back
sewer
to the
SWAT scene. That just sounds
that sounds like
sewer
a
SWAT
punk rock band. So again, going back to the guerrilla filming in the 1980s, when the SWAT team came out, if you look at the extras in the background, which aren't extras, they're not paid extras, they're real people. They freaked out because they thought it was a real SWAT, and they called the police.
They called the police out.
Yeah. So and again, the full scale models were used, and a regular size alligator was put on the set. There's a couple of them you can get away with, but for the majority, you can seriously tell it's sets.
Yes.
So this was, and I gotta say, Robert Foster sold the hell of this film. He was phenomenal.
He was good.
Playing the cop.
He was.
He really
did a great job as a cop.
Yeah, I think it's a C.
I would give it a C.
Yeah, I think it's a C. If not for Robert Foster, I know Ramon was cool, but Robert really sold it. I definitely recommend it. If you want to see an 80s horror film, this is vintage 80s. Again, everything in 1980 looked like it was filmed in the 70s. True. Which probably some of them were because it was a lot of progression. Yeah. But it definitely, you could not. If you watch 80s films, you would have thought they were all 70s. I don't think anybody who knows 80s culture would say they were 80s films.
Right.
Next up is kind of a weird accident.
Motel Hell.
So they wanted to make a Texas Chainsaw film.
Isk.
They actually go ahead.
No, Texas Chainsaw Isk.
Isk, yeah. They actually got Toby Hopper to direct it.
Oh, that's right.
Toby hated the script, backed out, and the studio wasn't happy with it, so they made a parody.
Yeah, they wanted it to be a comedy.
There's a friendly motel.
We'd like a room for the night. Come on inside, I'll fix you up.
Featuring a heated pool and competitive sports. Where Ida and Farmer Vincent tend a garden. Their famous secret garden for very special guests. Drop in. You just might die laughing. Motel Hell, rated R.
And the lead character, the guy that owns the hotel, I cannot remember his name off the top of my head right now.
What is this? Yeah, it's Rory Calhoun.
Rory Calhoun was a huge cowboy figure back in the 50s. He does a phenomenal acting job in this movie.
Yeah, he sells the house. I mean, just like Robert Forster.
If he was not in this movie, I don't think it would have been nearly as good as it was.
Like, these guys weren't phoning it in, guys. They came with their full game. I mean, it's insane.
He really gave it all.
So this is a cult classic. We had to include this. Also, if you notice his sister in it, Nancy Parsons, she is from
Porky's.
Porky's.
Where she grabs the guy's penis through the...
she likes pulling on meat.
Through the shower thing,
She likes pulling on meat. It is a very disturbing concept.
It is.
And the chainsaw scene at the end was completely improvised. It was
chainsaw fight between
not
two guys.
Scripted at all. It has some very weird sexual dynamics. And Nancy Parsons is creepy as hell in this. Like, she is really creepy in this. But I agree with you. Rory was, you could tell she's an actor.
But the concept that their victims, they would bury them up to their necks in the dirt and put funnels in their mouths and feed them to make them big and fat before they dispatched with them. And fun fact, I told Ron this, and he didn't know it when I told him. There's a band of musicians that he ends up capturing. He gets his people by staging accidents. He makes them wreck, and then he goes and gets the bodies from the wrecks.
Yeah.
But the drummer of the band was Cliff Clavin, John Rassenberger. He was actually. I was like, is that Cliff there in the ground?
Cliff survives. Does Cliff survive? No, he gets pulled out.
He does survive.
Oh, he survives?
So the band ends up pulling themselves out of the dirt.
So now we know Cliff's origin story. That's what happened.
That's what happened.
He got so screwed up, he went to work for the post office.
That's right.
Got his voice back because they cut out their vocal cords. The thing about this film is people got really upset because the image from the film was the giant pig head. And that shows up at the end of the movie. So people going in this movie thought it was going to be a Texas Chainsaw.
All about the pig was going to be out through the whole movie.
Right, and it was not. It is very slow. It's a very slow, methodic story that's bizarre at the same time. It goes beyond cheesy. It is basically, I think this is the kind of film that inspired Critters, Ghoulies, all of that with that dark horror comedy. The way the girl and Rory connected, and then that creepy sheriff who's supposed to be the good guy who tries to SA her in the scene. I think that's their first day he tries to SA her, then he becomes like the hero of the film.
He does that in the car. She somehow just forgets all about it and kind of forgives him for that.
Yeah, but because it's iconic, I'm going to give it a C.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
But it is.
It's worth a watch. 100%.
Everyone again, like Humanoids from the Deep, like Alligator. If you are truly saying that you're an '80s horror fan,
cheesiness,
you need to be able to see films like this. All right, the next film is again one of my guilty pleasures. They remade this. Don't watch the remake. The remake is god awful.
John Carpenter's The Fog.
This is KAB Antonio Bay. Stevie Wayne here. And let me be the first to wish Antonio Bay a happy birthday. We're 100 years old today. And keep a watch out for that fog bank heading in from the east.
100 years ago, between midnight and 1, something unknown came out of the fog. Now it has returned.
Oh, Jesus.
100 years ago, between midnight and 1, something unnatural came out of the fog. Now it has returned. 100 years ago, between midnight and 1, something evil came out of the fog. Now it has returned.
Who's there?
The fog.
Antonio Bay has a curse on it. We're all cursed. There's no water got in here, but something awful cold did.
I think I'll go to Vancouver now.
Where's the fog now?
Well, it should be right outside my door now.
Oh, there's something different about this fog. Dan, stay away from the door!
Someone listen to me!
Get inside and lock your doors. Close your windows. There's something in the fog. Stay away from the fog. From the creator of Halloween, the ultimate experience in terror and suspense. John Carpenter's The Fog, starring Adrienne Barbeau, Jamie Lee Curtis, John Houseman, Janet Leigh as Kathy Williams, and Hal Holbrook as Father Malone. The Fog. What you can't see won't hurt you. It will kill you. Between midnight and 1, it will find you.
Okay, Tom Atkins was in quite a few of Carpenter's films, including Halloween 3.
Yes, that's right. He was in Season of the Witch.
Known, but him and
he was also in Night of the Creeps.
Yes, he played the cop. He plays a very similar character. He's one of my. I love him. He's one of the greatest things that came out of the '80s as far as actors are concerned. Atkins and Curtis meet and they just do it. It's that. So the main ghost is played by Rob Bottin.
Rob Bottin.
He actually was the effects artist who worked on the thing. He actually played the main ghost, Captain Blake.
And actually, the ghosts are from a shipwreck caused by the fog.
And I didn't know this. Barbeau was married to John Carpenter, and John Carpenter wrote that part just for her.
I didn't know
I didn't know that either.
Wow.
And Jamie Lee Curtis was not originally. She was added. So, and apparently the novelization makes the film make more sense. I think it's makes pretty common sense. It's just it doesn't really have the concept is really good, but the execution, it's just lacking something.
The execution was definitely lacking.
The idea of ghost pirates coming and haunting, and the whole story behind it, which in the remake, the story is told better about why the pirates are attacking the island.
Yes.
But in the 1980s, they really, really kind of broach it. But it's basically a leper colony that the townsfolk screwed over and ended up sinking their ship. Man, this is a hard one, Rob.
This is something I would not watch again.
No,
but I think it's worth a watch.
I watch it all the time. I don't think it deserves an F. I think a C is fair.
Okay.
So this is a third film that Jamie Lee Curtis was in.
Yes.
Which is Prom Night, which they've made multiple sequels.
Prom Night is
I think they made another one in 2008, if I'm not mistaken.
Prom Night is Terror Train meets Carrie. That's the way I think about it.
Go home now and never ever tell anyone. I'll never tell. Swear? I swear. I swear. Good. Let's go.
Have a date for the prom yet?
I'm going to the prom.
It's not who you go with, honey. It's who takes you home.
Hello? Can you come out to play? I'll see you at the prom tonight. It's mine.
Minute disco scene. Jamie
Lee Curtis got some moves.
She does, and she showed that in True Lies too.
She did.
They could not afford the rights to the music they wanted to use, so the composer made up similar songs.
He got sued,
and the director said, "Make them close enough that we could get sued." But they wouldn't win.
They wouldn't win, exactly.
That was, I think,
and they did. But they did get they did try a lawsuit against because it sounded like something I think from Saturday Night Fever.
Yes, yeah. And I think Jamie Lee and the actor who played the male her male counterpart, they actually trained for hours, like 10 hours or something,
I can believe that.
to shoot that.
That's some good dancing.
Brock Sampson, who played Nick. Brock Sampson is from the Venture Brothers. Brock Sampson, who played Nick in the film, is the only actor to appear in all 4 Prom Night films.
Wow.
So, and we'll be seeing a lot of those guys, so strap in for that.
It turned into a kind of a scream with the sequel.
Prom Night, I got to tell you, it's an F for me. I don't think it's a good film. I don't know, Rob. What's your thoughts?
I would say with the disco scene, it might push it up to a C, but it's definitely not unwatchable. True. But it's
I'm gonna default to you on it. I'm gonna let you call that one.
F.
You think it's F?
Yeah.
Okay. So next up is Maniac.
Maniac.
This one was a tough watch, but
it was a tough watch, and it was also a very controversial movie.
I firmly believe, I don't care what anybody says, I firmly believe Silence of the Lambs was inspired by this film.
It had to have been. Yeah. There's too many similarities.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And it also, like Cannibal Holocaust, was controversial because they said it depicted way too much abuse of women. He said the movie's going to cause men to kill women.
Maniac.
That's lovely.
You can lock your doors.
But you can't lock the madman out of your mind. Maniac. It will tear the life out of you.
The infamous shotgun to the window sheen was filmed hastily.
Because they had to, go ahead.
The crew leaving before the cops were.
Cops got, they didn't get permission, so they shot and then it's brutal looking too. It blows his head off.
And I think that's one of Savini's favorite effects.
It is.
So much so that Savini played the recipient
of the
headshot.
He was in that scene, you're right. It looked beautiful.
Right. The
special effects were phenomenal.
This was his passion project. He actually put $6,000 of his own money into the film.
Wow. I did not know that.
Yep. So...
and if you want to talk, the ending kind of leaves you wondering.
Yeah.
It's one of those, is it a dream or did it really happen to him? Type of
like the American Psycho kind of thing.
Yeah, all the mannequins come to life and kill him. So you're like, is that just him flipping out, or is that what's going on? Is it?
Yeah, that's brutal. That dream scene is brutal.
Yeah,
it's the most brutal scene in the movie. I mean,
this his head off.
This is a gore film. This is one of the ones
straight up gore, a lot of blood.
This is, and it's definitely any Savini project is going to have that gore level. Friday the 13th. This one,
yes.
Also, just so you know, the Headless Corpse featured in the film was the same Headless Corpse for Jason's
mom.
Going
at the side of the bed when it was
Jason's mom.
I did not know. Wow.
Jason's mom, yeah.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah. And it was banned because it was so...
controversial.
Yeah.
A lot of women came out against it, a lot of feminists.
Yes, it was during that time where porn and so forth were being heavily boycotted by the feminist movement. So I've got to tell you, Rob, I think this is an A. I think this is one of the first that really took things to the edge.
Oh, I think special effects alone makes it an A.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. Yeah, I think and Spinelli's performance is
fantastic.
Outstanding, and Savini's effects are incredible.
Those two combined definitely make it an A.
Yeah, I think without a doubt it's an A. So, so okay, A's catching up a little bit. We're almost done, but A's catching up a little bit. Recommend it highly.
Yes.
Highly. All right.
Play the music.
This is Rob's least favorite.
I'm
I'm actually not going to talk during this one, so you can watch the full trailer, so Rob can enjoy the full trailer.
Yes, let's not talk.
I had this dream where I'm in a thunderstorm, and it's raining really hard. It sounds like pebbles when it hits the ground. I try to block out the sound with my hands, only it doesn't work. It just keeps getting louder and louder. And then the rain turns to blood.
It's just a dream.
Are you crazy?
We ain't gonna stand for no weirdness out here.
Hello? Help me!
Did you know that a young boy drowned here?
Help me!
His name was Jason, and today is his birthday.
Help me!
This place is cursed. You're doomed if you stay here.
It's not funny anymore. Not funny at all. They're all dead.
I don't consider Friday the 13th a slasher film. I consider it a horror film.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely
revenge.
The same. Yeah. I think Maniac is more of a slasher film.
Yes.
Because it's got that serial killer element. When Jason came in, of course, that set the tone for the rest of the movies. But this was more of a whodunit, almost like Hitchcock. I feel like it's Hitchcock on like steroids.
Oh, it was.
Steroids.
I had no idea it was the mom.
No,
none whatsoever.
Nope. Kevin Bacon's practical effect is still considered one of the best, better practical effects made.
Man.
I think
that was through the neck.
That was Tom Savini again.
Still, the plot was very good.
Yep.
The twists and turns.
And between this and Maniac, Savini really, this is where Savini started doing his best work. I know people talk about Night of the Living Dead and all that, but I really think this is some of his best work. The camp, so you guys know, Camp Crystal Lake does exist. It's called Camp Nobi Bo Sco. It's in New Jersey. They do horror fan tours.
I will get there one day.
Yeah, we should do that as a trip. It is supposed to be haunted. Friday the 13th, believe it or not Maniac, but Friday the 13th is what launched the MPAA crackdown.
Wow.
So that's interesting.
It is interesting.
Well, Rob, explain, because everyone thinks it's cha-cha-cha, ha-ha-ha. It's not.
It's not.
Go ahead, Rob.
It's K-I-K-I-K-I-M-A-M-A-M-A. Kick, kick, kick. Ma, ma, ma. They put kill and mom into a synthesizer and then bounced around in there 1,000 times, and it came out.
Right, because Pamela Voorhees says kill her mommy.
Kill, yeah. So.
And composer Henry Manfredi. Well, go ahead.
Manfredi? Fredini, I'm sorry.
Actually recorded that himself.
And one of my favorite kills in the movie is the hatchet to the face in the bathroom.
That's Rob's.
Or axe to the face, I'm sorry. Look fun. His work is just phenomenal. Savini. I don't know why they got rid of him at some point.
Do you know what the original title was called, Rob?
I do, but I can't think of it. It was definitely not
Night at Camp.
That's right.
Which is a fucking awesome title.
That's not bad.
Jason's mask was a complete accident. It was a Detroit Red Wings mask that they used as a placeholder, and it stuck. Which I didn't know that was the case.
Yep.
And of course, if you're wondering why it's been so hard to get new Jason movies out, is because writer Victor Miller and the producers have a long-standing legal battle on who owns the concept.
Yeah, there's one party owns like the name, and the other party owns the rights to the franchise. It's very strange. It's been going on for a long time.
Yep, no, 100%.
Which has prevented it from coming out with any more movies.
Right, and then there is a Japanese Friday the 13th manga that was produced in the 80s.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know
that either. So,
wow,
interesting stuff, guys. Good facts.
Well, you know what I'm going to say.
Oh yeah, this is the goat.
This is an F.
This is seriously
for sure.
Goat. Yeah.
Major goat.
This and Halloween are the goats. These are the two films that launched 1,000 Machetes.
Absolutely.
You know, Jamie Lee Curtis, they wanted her in this role. I think I told you that.
You did tell me that.
And then they opted not because they felt like it was too close to Halloween. Although I don't think it's anything like Halloween.
I'm glad she wasn't in it. That would have been weird.
No, I'm glad she wasn't either. Okay, the last film on our list
but
is
definitely not least.
My favorite film.
I'm just going to show up through this whole thing, let you gush over it.
It's in the top 3 of in the top 10 of my favorite films of all time. This is in the top 3.
I was going to say, I thought you were ready to hire top 3.
Top 3, yeah. I think I rated up there with Godfather.
Tombstone.
Yeah, Tombstone. Well, yeah. So this film is still being dissected to this day.
It is.
It is The Shining.
I don't suppose they told you anything in Denver about
it was
we had up here during the winter of 1970.
It was Kubrick's middle finger to Stephen King.
Yes.
Shown in the scene where you see the red, I believe it's the yellow Volkswagen flipped upside down in a car accident, and I think they have a red one and vice versa. King hates this version. I think he's come to love it now.
I think he's come to love it, yeah.
I think this is Nicholson's performance, Duvall's performance this is the highlights of their career.
Oh, absolutely.
The actual hotel is a character. I don't think there's any continuity errors.
It's an actual actor. The hotel's
I don't think there's any continuity errors. I think they're all done intentionally to give the fact that the hotel itself is haunting.
And it changes.
And I've never seen a film still create to this day so many different theories on what is going all the way back to Stanley Kubrick faking the moon landing.
Yes.
But Dr. Sleep is a terrible sequel. I think that's an actual book by Stephen King.
Dr. Sleep is a book by
Stephen King. It's a terrible sequel.
It's actually a sequel to Insomnia. Dr. Sleep is.
No, it's a sequel to this one.
Well, it's kind of a sequel to both. They're all 3 of those are tied in.
But this, I mean, I love this.
So face through the bathroom door. I mean, come on. Who doesn't know that image?
The "Here's Johnny" line, which was ad-libbed by Jack Nicholson. The fact that Stanley Kubrick almost drove Shelley Duvall crazy. And she was traumatized.
She was severely traumatized
by the movie. It's just
because he wanted her to be genuinely afraid.
He tortured her.
Yeah.
He actually tortured her. It was innovative as far as the film techniques. The Steadicam was mounted upside down. The operator navigated the halts in a specific designed wheelchair. The set designing was fantastic. Some of the most iconic lines are on there. Danny Lloyd portrayed Danny Torrance. And Kubrick kept some of the horror elements from the young actor so he would actually be scared. He told him it was actual drama.
Oh, okay.
And he actually didn't view the completed film until he was 17.
Wow.
Corey Feldman insists that people mistake him
for the kid
actor. Yeah. There was one scene that Shelley Duvall did that Kubrick made her do 127 times.
That's just brutal. That's abuse.
Kubrick was a phenomenal director, but he
That's
was
abuse.
not. He was not a not a
Actor
good
friendly.
guy.
He was known for like scenes over and over and over and over again. Was he not? Yeah.
It took 68 weeks to film, which caused delay in what major production? Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
And Kubrick used oil smoke to create the cold, foggy exteriors and used blue lights. In the Stephen King novel, The Haunted Room is 217, however, was changed to 237, which is the name of a documentary which I highly recommend about the subject. At the request of Timberlane Lodge, where exterior shots were filmed to avoid guests avoiding room 217. Now, there is controversy that there is no room 217. I don't know if there is or not, but and there are various conspiracy theories about the moon landing, about the film is about the genocide of the Native American Indians, genocide of Jews during the Holocaust. There is the belief that it's built on Indian burial ground, which he mentions in it. I personally think it's just that it all happens. There's no ghosts, actually. It's all in their minds. I personally think the film is exactly what it is. It's a haunted. It is the perfect haunted house movie.
Yes.
And also a family drama about a man who is falling apart, who has an evil streak in him, and the hotel brings out that streak.
Brings it out. Yes. Brings out the evil.
There's two competing theories, even that Shelley Duvall's character is abusing Danny Torrance, and then one that the father, when you see him come down after he goes to room 237 where the ghost woman's at, that actually it was Jack Nicholson's character who had sexually abused and attacked him and then left him in the room or something like that nature. And there is indications that that there is sexual and physical abuse at Danny Torrance. I've never heard Kubrick say anything about that.
Right.
But it is definitely, for the film to have such an impact on the zeitgeist, a word I'm using a lot tonight.
Zeitgeist.
The Shining to me is not only a GOAT, but it's one of the GOATs of the old time. And it wasn't appreciated when it came out.
No,
it was not. It took time for people to understand really how good the movie was. It was ahead of its time. And I think it is one of Kubrick's best films, without a doubt. I know people will say 2001. I know they'll say Full Metal Jacket. Both of them are excellent. I think The Shining stands out above both.
Did he do Apocalypse Now, or was that somebody else?
That was somebody else, I believe. So, but yeah. So let's review. We got two GOATs. We got The Shining and Friday the 13th. 3 A's, Cannibal Holocaust. We've got Dress to Kill and Maniac. And then on the C category is Altered States, The Changeling, which I highly recommend you check out, Blood Beach, which would have got a higher rating had it not been for the goofy monster, Alligator, Motel Hell, which is iconic in its own right because it started the genre of the horror comedy. Films like The Devil's Reject, stuff like that all came from that. And The Fog. The Fog gets a C because it's one of those films that's so bad it's good. In the F category, we've got Saturn III, complete missed opportunity. Could have been a really cool science fiction horror. Humanoids from the Deep. You don't improve a film by essay. This is not I Spit on Your Grave, Creature of the Black Lagoon style. What was the other one? Terror Train. Don't bother. And then Prom Night. If you love Jamie Lee Curtis, check it out. But and then as Z's Unwatchable, The Watcher in the Woods. I would love to see someone remake that because I think it could be
a good one,
like the others, like The Turning of the Screw. and then New Year's Evil, which is it's almost impossible to watch.
It is.
Cannibal Holocaust is hard for me to watch because of the graphicness of it. New Year's Evil is just a bad film, and the whole "I am evil,
I am evil, call me evil"
stuff. So that is our listing. And you guys notice I'm wearing my Mad Monster shirt. We'll be at Mad Monster. I think it's August 22nd to 24th. So we'll be at Mad Monster. We'll be promoting our film, You're It, which is going to be friggin' awesome. Friggin' sweet. We got Charlotte Comic-Con on August 17th. We've got Kannapolis Microcon on August 2nd. Check out all of those. And don't forget about our film, You're It, which will be streaming on 8/12 of this year. 12th. You know what we could do, Rob, since it is our frickin' thing.
That's right.
We could show the trailer.
Oh, that'd be good.
Now let's show the trailer to that.
This is it. This is the one.
It's about stopping this madman.
So what are we supposed to do?
But don't you get it?
It's the same game.
I know I failed y'all before. Please, work with me one last time.
He wants to steal away every drop of hope. He wants to see it in their eyes before they die. So all that's left is fear.
I don't know what we're gonna do.
You have got to get yourself together.
I need to stop this.
I am the wrong person to come to for your redemption.
So, let's make some magic.
So anyway, guys, that's our show. We hope you enjoyed it. Next week, same time. Well, no, we're doing 7:30.
7:30.
Every Thursday, 7:30. We're going to have our next one, which will be the best horror films of 1981. So we hope you guys will tune in for that. Hope you had a great time. Want to thank my co-host, Rob Cochran, the most awesome man in the world.
You can't see me. Thanks.
And want to thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe to all our channels.
Yes.
Once again, if you don't want to watch the whole movie, but you want to see some really good synopsis, check out Fanboy Flicks, Minty Comedic Arts, The Bad Movie Bible, the Brandon Tenold, and Dead Meat. Highly recommend checking those out. You'll have a great time. They do this a lot better than we do it.
Yeah.
So we appreciate it. So guys, stay cool out there. Have a great rest of your night. And remember, don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
So,
I'll find you.
All right, guys. Have a great one. Bye.
Bye.